The rain fell like silver needles against the cold New York pavement, soaking the shoulders of hurried strangers and casting blurry reflections on the glistening sidewalks. It was just past 9 p.m., and Olivia Bennett, a 28-year-old marketing executive, clutched her umbrella tighter, walking briskly through a dimly lit alley she never intended to use. But a last-minute subway closure had forced her off her usual path, and now her heart thudded with each step. She wasn't the type to be easily rattled. Growing up in Detroit had given her a good measure of street smarts, and her job demanded confidence. But tonight, something felt wrong. She glanced behind her. A man was following her. Tall. Dark hood. Hands in pockets. Too close. Too silent. Her pulse quickened. She reached for her phone but hesitated. Maybe he's just walking in the same direction, she thought. Don't be dramatic, Olivia. Still, she sped up, her heels clicking urgently on the wet ground. But so did his. And that's when he lunged. Her scream caught in her throat as he grabbed her arm from behind, yanking her to a stop. Heart pounding, eyes wide with terror, she struggled to break free, certain this was it, this was the end. But then. He leaned in. And whispered 3 chilling words. Keep walking. Now. Confused, trembling, and still terrified, Olivia stumbled forward, almost tripping as he stayed close behind, a shadow to her steps. I'm not going to hurt you, the man said lowly, just enough for her to hear. There's someone watching you, behind the dumpster. Been waiting. I saw him pull a knife. Olivia froze, her brain scrambling to process what he just said. He nudged her gently. Don't stop. Act natural. You're being followed, not by me, but him. Swallowing a scream, she obeyed, her breathing shallow. And that's when she noticed it. A figure across the street, crouched low, ducking behind the overflowing trash bin. Watching her. Waiting. Her skin went cold. They kept walking. When they reached the main road, lights and people reappeared like a lifeline. The man let go of her arm and took a step back, face still hidden beneath his hood. You're safe now, he said. Wait, Olivia gasped, finally turning to face him, voice shaking. Who are you? He paused, then simply said, just someone who's been in the dark before. And then he disappeared into the crowd. Olivia stood frozen, heart racing, drenched in rain and disbelief. The next day, she couldn't get him out of her mind. Not the fear. Not the whisper. Not the way he had known something she hadn't. How close had she come to being hurt, or worse? She told the police. They confirmed reports of an attempted assault in that very alley, just 30 minutes after she passed through. A woman had been attacked. The suspect matched the shadowy figure she saw hiding behind the dumpster. She felt sick. That could have been her. Her life had been saved by a stranger who didn't want thanks or recognition. But she wasn't the kind to let things go easily. 3 days later, Olivia took a leave from work and returned to that same alley in the daylight, searching, asking questions. At the nearby soup kitchen, she showed the staff a sketch artist's rendering of the man she had described to the police. I think I've seen him, one volunteer said. He comes in sometimes. Keeps to himself. Doesn't say much. She waited for hours every day that week. Finally, on a rainy Thursday afternoon, she saw him. Same hood. Same posture. Same quiet presence. He was handing out food trays to other homeless men in the shelter, not even taking one for himself. She approached slowly. Hey, she said gently. You saved me. He looked up, startled. I told you I'm not looking for anything. I know, she said, but I still needed to say thank you. And maybe, understand. He hesitated, then nodded toward a bench. They sat, rain tapping on the old shelter windows. My name's Marcus, he said after a pause. She introduced herself too. And over coffee from a dented paper cup, he told her his story. Marcus Carter had once been a firefighter. A hero in every sense. Until a building collapse left him with a broken spine and months of painful recovery. But the worst pain wasn't physical, it came from watching his mother die in that same fire he couldn't save her from. He spiraled. Depression. Addiction. Then homelessness. I stopped believing people were worth saving, he admitted, eyes heavy. Until I saw you that night. And I remembered, I was once someone who helped people. I could do it again. Olivia's eyes stung. This man who had lost everything, had still chosen to protect her. I think you just saved more than one life that night, she said softly. Moved beyond words, Olivia did something she hadn't planned. She offered him a chance. Come work with me, she said. We have a community outreach program. You have a story that could inspire people. Help others. You don't have to live in the shadows anymore. Marcus looked down. I don't know if I deserve that. You do, she replied. Because when everyone else looked away, you didn't. 6 months later, Marcus stood in front of a room full of young people in a community center in Harlem, telling his story. His voice, once quiet and unsure, was strong now. He spoke of pain, redemption, and the choice to do good even when no one's watching. The program Olivia created had grown. With Marcus on board, they had helped over 50 homeless individuals find jobs and shelter. He had become the face of second chances. And Olivia? She was no longer just a marketing executive. She was a woman whose life had changed the moment someone whispered, "Keep walking." Years later, that moment still lived in her memory. But now, it was a reminder, not of fear, but of how one act of courage, one whispered warning in the dark, had lit a fire of kindness that spread far beyond that rainy alley. Because sometimes, the ones we fear the most, turn out to be our greatest protectors. And sometimes, the greatest heroes wear no badges, no uniforms, and ask for no applause. They just whisper when it matters most. And keep walking.